Hey guys, I'm honestly feeling like I'm stealing video games because these 10 local multiplayer games are way too good to be free. And some of them are straight up better than $60 titles I have played so far.
The game Splitgate is exactly that. It is like Halo with portals, and honestly, even that pitch undersells how fun it is. The shooting feels slick, clean, and immediately satisfying, so even if you have never touched an arcade shooter before, you can jump in and have a great time right away. But what really makes this game special is the portal mechanic. It lets you flank people, escape bad fights, and pull off those ridiculous outplays where someone absolutely gets styled on, which will be remembered as the coolest part of the night. That is why it works so well in local multiplayer. New players can just run around and shoot, while better players can start doing galaxy brain portal plays. The weapons are very easy to understand, the maps are built well around them, and there are enough game modes to keep it fresh for hours. And compared to Halo Infinite, which I talked about in my last video, I actually enjoyed Splitgate even more. The split screen setup is easier, the hardware demands are lighter, and the portal mechanic gives it way more personality. This is one of the best local multiplayer FPS games I have ever played. Period. Disney Speedstorm is as premium as Mario Kart, but with less randomness and a lot more emphasis on actually driving well. Items are way less likely to completely flip the race, and drifting matters a lot because that is how you build up your nitro boost. That makes it feel more skill based without losing that arcade fun. For local multiplayer, it is instantly approachable because everyone recognizes Disney characters, and the game gives you 12 races for free in local play. You can even turn on steering assist, which helps beginners to be competitive right away, while better players can start squeezing extra speed out of drift lines and boost timings. The only real catch is that local multiplayer is weirdly locked at first, so you need to spend around 60 to 90 minutes in ranked before you can use it. And don't get fooled by the negative reviews about their pay-to-win system, because in local multiplayer that doesn't matter at all. It is unaffected by that nonsense and is very well balanced for competitive racing nights. Spellbreak is a third-person shooter, but not with guns. Instead, you are throwing magic at each other, and that gives it a completely different identity. The main attraction here is the Battle Royale mode, where up to 42 players and bots fight across a big map. The combat is way more exciting than you might expect because the elemental magic systems actually interact with each other. So fire, ice, poison and the rest of it can be combined into some really cool combo attacks, so fights feel more creative than just who aimed better. This is a very unique recommendation because there really is no other game that comes this close to delivering a proper Battle Royale experience in local multiplayer. You can play the matches solo, duo or as a team of 3. There's also a 5v5 Dominion mode for players only, so you have enough variety to almost carry a full game night. Now the important part, this is not plug and play. You need to launch the included local server, connect each Nucleus instance manually with mouse and keyboard, and use server commands to add bots and start matches. Strong hardware is also recommended if you want bigger bot-filled matches. So yes, it needs a bit of work, but once it's running, the payoff is absolutely brilliant. Handy Dandy is a co-op puzzle platformer. The standout mechanic is a light ray that splits the screen into 2 dimensions, which means both players are constantly dealing with the same puzzle from slightly different realities. That creates the good kind of co-op brain pain, where you are genuinely trying to solve things together instead of going separate routes side by side. It also helps that the art style is adorable, the little animations have a lot of charm, and the whole thing is easy to pick up even if someone in the room barely plays video games. So for quite a local session, this is a great pick, especially with new players. The only downside is that it's short, around 90 minutes, but 96% positive on Steam clearly shows that this game nailed its concept and is a really easy recommendation. Spring Dogs is a chaotic platform racing party game like Stumble Guys, but honestly, I had more fun with this one. One of its big hooks is scale. You can play with up to 16 local players, and if you add bots, there can be up to 18 characters bouncing around the map at once, which gets messy in the best way. It is also a little bit more skill-based than it first looks, because the double jump and slide mechanics give you actual movement tech to learn if you want to get sweaty about it. That makes it great for mixed skill groups, since beginners can still have fun immediately while more competitive players have enough room to optimize. You also get different modes like team play, time attack and regular races, so it does not burn out too quickly. It is a nice reset after more intense games, because the vibe is lighter, funnier and less serious, even when somebody is absolutely blaming the game for their own terrible jump. The only caveat is that it can feel a little janky in places, but weirdly, that is also a huge part of the fun. Dissidia Final Fantasy NT is a third-person fighter, and some characters here actually cost money. But the local multiplayer mode with all the nostalgic Final Fantasy characters is entirely free. And if your group knows Final Fantasy, half the fun starts before the match even begins. The roster is huge, the characters feel distinct, and the combat is easy to understand with a high skill ceiling. You just need to know in advance. You have one secondary attack that does not deal direct damage, but builds up the damage of your next primary attack. So when you hit the primary, it cashes that in. If you can also time your blocks just right, the fights become much more tactical and way more satisfying. It also supports up to 3v3 battles, which is also the reason why the reviews are so mixed. Longtime fans wanted more of the old 1v1 style and were unhappy with the free-to-play structure and costly DLCs. But in local multiplayer, that baggage doesn't matter, because all characters are available there, and the team-based format actually helps to get more friends involved at once.
If you are into hidden local co-op PC games that nobody talks about, subscribe, because that's exactly what this channel is about.
Brawlhalla is the best free pick if you want something like Smash Bros, without actually being Smash Bros. It is a 2D platform fighter where weapons spawn on the map, and grabbing one quickly matters because unarmed attacks are way less threatening. What keeps it interesting is that every character can use 2 weapon types, so even simple matches have a lot of variety once people start finding a style they like, whether that is fast, heavy, awkward or annoyingly spammy. It is super easy to recommend because the controls are simple, matches get tense fast, and you can fight with up to 8 people locally. The one drawback is that the free character rotation only gives you 9 characters available at a time, so after about an hour you may feel like you have already sampled most of what you wanted to try. Still, for quick local fights, this one absolutely earns its spot. Rebound Rivals is basically air hockey turned into a party game, and air hockey usually costs a coin, but this one does not. It's simple, immediate, and the kind of game where everyone knows what they are supposed to do, but actually controlling the puck well is chaotic enough to create a lot of accidental comedy. That is what makes it so good. It is easy to read, hard to master, and every lucky bounce feels like a highlight clip somebody absolutely did not deserve. I would recommend starting with a normal match on one of the simpler maps, because that is where the game shines. Once people understand the flow, then you can unleash the destructive chaos mode and let the room fall apart. The only little warning is that the more complicated maps push the chaos too far, which makes it extremely hard to score at all, which turns funny rounds into frustrating ones. So stick to the cleaner maps and you will have a very fun 30-minute session with this. Relic Hunters Zero is a compact little twin-stick shooter with a slight bullet hell flavor, but not in a way that makes it overwhelming. It is fast, simple and polished, which is exactly why it works so well. You jump in, pick a character, start blasting enemies, dodge a few incoming shots and very quickly get into that satisfying loop of clearing rooms and grabbing loot. It also has a nice sense of humor, so fighting ridiculous space ducks and turtles with tiny guns gives it a lot of personality. What I like here is the lack of friction. It is very approachable for less experienced players because the difficulty stays fairly light and the whole campaign is short enough to actually finish in around 3 hours, which is honestly refreshing. This provides a relaxed, funny local session that you can actually complete, which is why it is a really good pick. And 92% positive on Steam means it's clearly doing something right. SKYGUARD is a free third-person survival shooter made by a student team, and you can feel that this was a passion project in the best way. The graphics feel like a AAA title and the steampunk art style is pleasantly refreshing. The concept is simple: defend the energy cores of 3 flying ships while enemy waves keep rolling in. You earn money from kills and spend that cash on new weapons or upgrades between rounds. The shop options are randomized, which adds just enough variety to keep the shooting from feeling too samey. For local multiplayer this works because it is easy to understand, the teamwork is clear and the overall difficulty is pretty welcoming, so nobody has to study a wiki before they can contribute. It is not a huge game though, but it will provide 30 to 60 minutes of solid co-op defense. It only supports gamepads, and since the university project is finished, there will be no more updates or bug fixes. So take it or leave it. But for a free student-made local co-op game, it is genuinely impressive. The honorable mention on this list is No More Room in Hell, a free first-person zombie survival game. I'll be honest though, this one just wasn't for me and my group. It is very slow paced, mostly built around careful melee combat, and that's not the kind of energy we wanted for a local session. If you get hit, get infected and die, the wait to get back in feels pretty punishing, which made it frustrating for us. But I can absolutely see why it has such strong reviews, because if you are the kind of group that likes intense, punishing tactical zombie survival, this is probably way more your thing than ours. So for the right group, I can totally see it hitting.
Looking for more good couch co-op games? I got you covered. And with that, thanks for your time. See you in the next one.